100 Philosophical Quotes. Happiness is the feeling that power increases, that resistance is being overcome. Friedrich Nietzsche. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. Aristotle. Rules for happiness: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. Immanuel Kant. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Mahatma Gandhi. I have learned to seek my happiness by limiting my desires, rather than in attempting to satisfy them. John Stuart Mill. Happiness is like a butterfly: the more you chase it, the more it will elude you, but if you turn your attention to other things, it will come and sit softly on your shoulder. Henry David Thoreau. Why should we build our happiness on the opinions of others, when we can find it in our own hearts? Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. The Dalai Lama. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. Socrates. Action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. William James. For every minute you are angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness. Ralph Waldo Emerson. A day without laughter is a day wasted. Nicholas Chamfort. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Aristotle. The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. Seneca. May you live every day of your life. Jonathan Swift. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Soren Kierkegaard. The past has no power over the present moment. Eckhart Tolle. If you hate a person, then you're defeated by them. Confucius. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. Albert Einstein. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Confucius. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. Oscar Wilde. Never form a friendship with a man who is not better than you. Confucius. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. George Bernard Shaw. When it is obvious that goals can't be reached, don't adjust the goals, but adjust the action steps. Confucius. Be not afraid of life. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. William James. What the superior man seeks is in himself, what the small man seeks is in others. Confucius. Give instructions only to those people who seek knowledge after they have discovered their ignorance. Confucius. Looking at small advantages prevents great affairs from being accomplished. Confucius. If we take eternity to mean not infinite temporal duration but timelessness, then eternal life belongs to those who live in the present. Ludwig Wittgenstein. If they spit at you behind your back, it means you're ahead of them. Confucius. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Socrates. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Alan Watts. The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. The opposite of art is not ugliness, it's indifference. The opposite of faith is not heresy, it's indifference. And the opposite of life is not death, it's indifference. Elie Wiesel. No valid plans for the future can be made by those who have no capacity for living now. Alan Watts. An ounce of action is worth a ton of theory. Ralph Waldo Emerson. There is only one way to avoid criticism: do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Aristotle. It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. J.K. Rowling. Eyes and ears are poor witnesses to people if they have uncultured souls. Heraclitus. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Reason has always existed, but not always in a reasonable form. Karl Marx. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. William Shakespeare. Life is like a piano. What you get out of it depends on how you play it. Albert Einstein. To know what people really think, pay regard to what they do rather than what they say. René Descartes. We do not describe the world we see. We see the world we can describe. René Descartes. Of all forms of caution, caution in love is perhaps the most fatal to true happiness. Bertrand Russell. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Lao Tzu. You only learn when you give your whole being to something. J. Krishnamurti. The more sand had escaped from the hourglass of our life, the clearer we should see through it. Niccolò Machiavelli. Of all forms of caution, caution in love is perhaps the most fatal to true happiness. Bertrand Russell. Love is born into every human being. It calls back the halves of our original nature together. It tries to make one out of two and heal the wound of human nature. Plato. This fire that we call loving is too strong for human minds, but just right for human souls. Abhijeevan. Love is that condition in which the happiness of another person is essential to your own. Robert A. Heinlein. One is loved because one is loved. No reason is needed for loving. Paulo Coelho. Love is simply the name for the desire and pursuit of the whole. Plato. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Confucius. The madness of love, the greatest of heaven's blessings. Plato. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. Aristotle. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Lao Tzu. There is always some madness in love. But there is also always some reason in madness. Friedrich Nietzsche. Immature love says, I love you because I need you. Mature love says, I need you because I love you. Erich Fromm. Forgiveness is the final form of love. Reinhold Niebuhr. In dreams and in love there are no impossibilities. Janos Arani. There is no remedy for love but to love more. Henry David Thoreau. Where there is love there is life. Mahatma Gandhi. No amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that is going to happen. Alan Watts. The greatest discovery of any generation is that a human can alter his life by altering his attitude. William James. When anger arises, think of the consequences. Confucius. When we are tired, we are attacked by ideas we conquered long ago. Friedrich Nietzsche. If you are depressed you are living in the past, if you are anxious you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Lao Tzu. Conquer yourself rather than the world. René Descartes. Waking up to who you are requires letting go of who you imagine yourself to be. Alan Watts. Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. Brené Brown. Prejudices are what fools use for reason. François Voltaire. A man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it, is committing another mistake. Confucius. Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. The Dalai Lama. Nothing is so difficult as not deceiving oneself. Ludwig Wittgenstein. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Aristotle. There are two things a person should never be angry at, what they can help, and what they cannot. Plato. The more you know you don't know. Aristotle. Thinking. The talking of the soul with itself. Plato. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. Confucius. It's strange how simple things become, once you see them clearly. Ayn Rand. Dare to know. Have the courage to use your own intelligence. Immanuel Kant. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. William James. It is not enough to have a good mind, the main thing is to use it well. René Descartes. He who thinks great thoughts, often makes great errors. Martin Heidegger. I think, therefore I am. René Descartes. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Aristotle. Nature is beautiful because it looks like art, and art can only be called beautiful if we are conscious of it as art while yet it looks like nature. Immanuel Kant. The world of reality has its limits, the world of imagination is boundless. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. If you hear a voice within you say, you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. Vincent van Gogh. If you ask me what I came to do in this world, I, an artist, will answer you, I am here to live out loud. Émile Zola. Any form of art is a form of power, it has impact, it can affect change, it can not only move us, it makes us move. Ossie Davis. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Aristotle. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up.
Thank you for watching.
Pablo Picasso. Art is the lie that enables us to realize the truth. Pablo Picasso. Art and love are the same thing. It's the process of seeing yourself in things that are not you. Chuck Klosterman. Art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. Thomas Merton. Art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. Pablo Picasso. Art is not what you see, but what you make others see. Edgar Degas.